Well, hello everybody. Once again, welcome back. As always, appreciate you being here. So if you're here, you've seen I was running the 17 VSE a little bit, just doing some cleanup tonight. I just got home from a trip up north to see my nieces. So we have been gone the last couple weekends, and I always like to get a little something done. So I got the tractor out tonight, brought some of these big remaining rounds that were on my staging area here over and busted them up, put them in their appropriate places, and it's starting to add up. So all of the oak that I had here is all done from the honey hole. I'm kind of on hold going to that property because that neighbor of mine that lets me access that said his brother is turkey hunting over there and wanted me to kind of lay low a little bit, not go in there. So of course I'm going to respect that. So I've got logs still on the ground over there to go pick up. But if you just seen here in the background, I got a small load of logs here. These came from one of my fence lines out at the farm. Picked those up. They fell out in the field. So I'm going to buck those up here. Thought I'd bring you all along for a little bit of that. Just a little bit of everything here tonight. And getting stuff cleaned up because two things exciting. My son Evan is going to be home in 4 days for summer break from the University of Alabama. So I'm getting my helper back and my best buddy in the Woodyard. So he's coming home. And I'm getting this area ready because I'm going to get these all bucked up tonight and stacked here because tree service guy called just in time for Evan to come home. So hopefully in the next couple days, I'm going to get a big tree service dump, and I want to get this area closest to my staging area cleaned up. So that's the plan. Stick with me. We're going to run a couple chainsaws here tonight. everybody, that's probably going to do it for this one. I got to run the VSE tonight and split up some of these last remaining oak, and as you can see, I'm covered in sawdust, and I got that small log load all bucked up. I'm going to get it stacked right here. That area will be ready in case the tree service guy comes tomorrow. And I've got to start on getting some rounds here for my son Evan when he gets home here in a few days, because he hasn't got to run the VSE or the 28 Pro X that's right behind that stack of wood right there underneath the awning. So got to get some wood in here, got to get with it. I plan on having that filled up hopefully by the time he gets home. So he's got some wood to split. He does miss it. I'm not gonna lie, he does miss home. So he's ready to get home, and I'm ready to have him. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys, tonight. Glad you were here with me. Stick around. Coming up, I got an upgrade going on the Coyote tractor there. Something that I'm needing. I think I'm up to, I just shut it off right there so I can put some stuff away. I'm at 29 hours on that Coyote already, and it's already well worth the money. You guys seen me just push all those rounds closer. I don't do that a lot because I don't like getting the rounds dirty, but there's a lot of sawdust over there, so I just took it easy. Still learning the loader, and pushed them over there to get them a lot closer. And I also hauled 3 buckets of uglies next door and dumped them right in an IBC tote and didn't have to handle them. All I had to do was throw them in the wheelbarrow when I was splitting, and then I dumped them right in the bucket, and then I had some over here on the pallet. So been a great help. So stay tuned for some upgrade coming to that. It's not going to be much, and I know there's been a lot of you out there saying stuff that I need for it, and I know this a little bit at a time, right? I wanted to get to learn the tractor, learn its capabilities, and then I'm gonna definitely wanting to be getting some sort of a materials bucket for it. So when I'm splitting into the bucket to take next door, I can take a lot more at a time. And then a grapple, definitely need a grapple one of these days. So guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Appreciate you being here. Until next time, get outside. We'll see you.